I want you to see the difference between a boy that walked in from the sheep pen to a boy walking in to his destiny. It's everything. What changed? Only the Word of God. Nothing else about his life changed. Only the Word that got established, rooted, and grounded and believed in his heart. But it took more than just belief. David went from belief to action. Because some of y'all are waiting on the prophecy of God, but you don't realize that the divine prophecy also takes divine work. You know what I'm saying? It just don't happen. You got to put hands to the plow and make it happen. Faith without works is dead. And David put his faith to work. Watch this, baby. 1 Samuel 17:34. But David said to Saul, this is after Goliath came, and challenged the Israelites, 40 days standing. Give me your best to fight, win or take all. And he challenged them and taunted them and ridiculed them and defied the living God for 40 days until David showed up on scene, not as a shepherd boy, as the king of Israel, right? And here's where David is before the current king of Israel, Saul. This is his speech. It's beautiful. It changed everything, revealed the heart, and allowed David to take action. Watch. 1 Samuel 17, verse 34. But David said to Saul, your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and carried off the sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it by its hair, struck it, and killed it. Your servant has killed both the lion and the bear. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, because he has defied the armies of the living God. The Lord has rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear, and will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine. He says, you want to know what I did when I was just a shepherd boy? When a lion or bear came across my flock, I took care of it. I killed it with my bare hands. And that was just when I was a shepherd boy. You wait and see what happens now that I'm a king. That's what I used to be able to do. I go in the name of the living God as king of Israel. My flock used to be under protection when I was just tending sheep. Saul, you got it twisted. This ain't your flock no more. This army right present, this is my flock. And just like the Lord rescued me from the paw of the lion and the bear, he will rescue me from this uncircumcised Philistine. I'm going to get it on. I'm putting foot to faith. I ain't going back to the sheep pen. Them ain't my sheep no more. Them daddy sheep. I'm looking at my sheep. I'm surrounded by my sheep, and I got an uncircumcised giant coming against him, and I'm going to protect him in the name of my God. Why? I got a dream. It's in my heart. He put it in there when he spoke, and I believe it. And I believe it, so I'm going to take action on it. And I'm going to do what God has called me to do, step up and be the man that God has called me to step up and be. This uncircumcised Philistine, he ain't nothing. And David went to daggone war for this dream. I'm just being real. He stepped into the battlefront with a sling and a stone, killed that Philistine, cut off his head with his own sword, and from then on, all of Israel knew that there was a God in Israel, and he has anointed David to be the leader. It took a little bit to get there, but David got there. Why? He had a word placed in his heart. Ain't nothing else changed in this boy's life except that. But it changed everything. And I'm telling you today, God has got a word for you that he wants to change everything. You've been waiting on it. You've been hoping for it. I'm saying ask for it. Hit the knees and get your word, get your promise, because our God is not mute. He is not far away. He is closer than a brother, and he got words for you. Because don't you understand? Our God ain't like no other God. All these other religions, they dead and gone, who they believing in. These statues that they honor and worship, they got mouths but can't speak, eyes but can't see, ears but can't hear. But our God, the living God, he is the only God that intervenes in the course of man's life, that comes speaking a word that changes everything, because he is the only God that can, because he lives, because he reigns, because he is who he says he is, the lover of you, and he wants you to rise up in his family, in his name, and dine at his table. That's why he sent Jesus. He didn't send Jesus to not do what he has called him to do. Jesus came to tend the flock like no one else could, like David was the foreshadow of. He came to defeat sin, death, and the devil, the giants of giants that we can't do for ourselves. And on that cross, he had victory. And just like the Israelite army routed the Philistines when David stepped up and took down their champion, We are to rout this earth, this sin, this devil, even death itself, because our victor champion on that cross. The army of Israel did not cower back when David won. They pressed forward and they plundered all of it. We can do the same because our champion championed. Our Jesus arose victorious. Death couldn't hold him. The grave couldn't keep him. Sin couldn't touch him. He rose and he still sits at the right hand of God the Father, speaking to his beloved. You. And he's got word and purpose for you. And when he speaks, you best believe. Because when you believe and you put foot to faith, life changes.